Hello everyone, BeardedSnowlYGO here, and today I'm going to give you my updated flu list for the post-Legacy of Destruction format. Sorry it took so long to get this video out here. Life's been a little bit crazy, so I haven't been able to record. But without further ado, let's get into it. Not a crazy amount has changed in this deck list. I mean, starting off, we have the bread and butter, the little birds. We have 3 Robina, 3 Eaglin, and then 1 Stree and 1 Toucan. That's it for the little birds. Yeah, as I was saying, not a lot has changed. I mean, I'm still going second, still planning on breaking boards. I know that's not really the way that people play Flu, but it's something different and it's something I like to do. Now for the rest of the engine, or for the rest of the birds, I should say, we have 2 MPen. I've seen people run 3, but I mean, honestly, take it or leave it. You could run 2, you could run 3. I run 2, but I don't think running 3 is bad either. We have 1 Ryza and 1 Apex Avian. That is it for the big birds. Now for the rest of the Flu engine, we have, of course, the 3 maps. Master Duel, please give them back. We have 3 of the Quick Play spell. We run 1 of the winds, though I've tested with 2 in the past, and 2 is great. And then 1 of the trap. We got to make sure that we're playing on our opponent's turn in 2024. Next, we're going to have some generic spells that kind of boost consistency. We have essentially a 4th map, and then a 4th quick play, another way to break boards. Or not break boards, I'm sorry, extend. We'll get to the board breakers. Next, you just have draw spells, 3 duality, and of course 3 prosperity. I have been kind of bouncing back and forth between 2 duality and 3 duality. I feel like sometimes I run the 6-pot cards and then I always see them, or I break on like 2 or 3 each, and then I take one out and then I don't see them for like 10 games in a row. So I have been swapping out one of my dualities for one of my side deck cards that I'll get to later. But for right now I run 3. Just, again, max consistency. Flu obviously could be a little bit of a bricky deck, so I like to go second A so I can guarantee at least more of a percent that I can get the small birds, but also it's more of a chance to draw into the board breakers, and I feel like board breakers are a lot. 1 board breaker to me is more impactful than 1 hand trap. I mean, obviously if you have several hand traps that's great, but drawing into 1 hand trap, like drawing into an Ash later on, feels really bad, but then drawing into one of my board breakers feels a lot better, but we'll get into that. Speaking of board breakers, or I'm sorry, hand traps, this is all that we run, just the bread and butter. Until we ban it, we're going to run it at 3. No graveyard for you, and this helps us play around hand traps like Droll, Ogre, and Veiler, stuff like that. I mean, kind of ends our day, especially Droll. Apologize. Now for the board breakers. Technically, I consider Thrust a board breaker. You can run 2, I run 1. I mean, it's cheaper. It's not cheap, but it is cheaper. This is essentially a 2nd, 3rd, or 4th copy of everything else that comes after it. We have 2 Dark Ruler No Mores. I mean, it's not as prevalent with Barone and Savage Band, but Appaloosa is everywhere, and that is my bird's mortal enemy, so absolutely. Technically, I run 3 Dark Rulers now. I run 1 Lightning Storm, so it's technically 2 if I want to search for it. Feather Duster, and then my bread and butter board breaker is one of my favorite cards in the last few formats. Evenly Matched. I would love to see Evenly Matched. If not on my open hand, I have 6 ways to draw into it, and if you activate a monster effect, I essentially have 7 ways to get into it in my deck. That's not just opening it, but 9 times out of 10, if I resolve this, especially with cards like Barone and Savage Band, I just win on the spot. And then, not a surprise to anyone, the last card is Featherstorm. I mean, again, as long as it's legal, we're going to main at least 1. I have seen people play it in the side, and I mean, I do have a 2nd one in the side, but I mean, it's another thrust target, so why not? Speaking of the side deck, we are going to go off with 3 Ash. I had a going first build. Sorry, just hit the camera. I had a going first build a while ago, and I used to play it in the main. Again, I feel like, at least for the way that I like to play, Board Breaker is a lot more impactful unless I were to draw an Ash and one or two other hand traps, but you can't always guarantee that. And again, drawing into some of these guys later on doesn't really feel as nice. I have DD Crow, and the last of my hand traps in the side, I run 3 Imperm. Again, that's the out of all of these, I might consider maining Imperm again, just because I feel like it's one of the most impactful hand traps nowadays, that and probably Crow, but in the meantime, they're in the side. Continuing with board breakers, I guess, stuff that I would like to have into the main, but I don't right now. Herald of the Abyss for Pearly and Raid Raptors. Raid Raptors is probably one of my worst matchups, just because the way that I like to play the deck is let them cook as much as possible, break their board, and then just continue to have gain control of the board state with Flu. But obviously, they're boss monsters. I kind of auto lose to them, so I want to have a thrust target, at least in the side for it. Change of Heart is something that I've been bouncing back and forth between. When I was saying earlier, I take out one of the dualities, I put in a Change of Heart. Another way to just steal Appaloosa, which you'll see in some of the gameplay videos, either that has already come out or will come out after this comes out. I'm not sure when exactly this is being uploaded. I have some more big birds on the side I'm messing around with. Dark Samorg, just for trap decks, just you lose, get rid of this or you can't play. And then I will one day top playing Snell. Not a lot of people play this. I feel like it does have good matchups depending on what deck you're going up against, but obviously it's not as impactful as a card like M-Pen. It's not a part of the main combo, but it does extend and it does has its uses, but one day we'll top with this card. And then to finish it off, we have 3 Cosmic Cyclones. I mean, before it was for Centurion. Obviously, Centurion with the Calamity Lock is still extremely powerful. It's an auto-win button. Now Tempai Dragons. If you just get rid of their field spell, use your normal Flu combo, there's really nothing they could do. But this is very important for the Tempai matchup. And then for the last card, we have the next Feather Storm. Just, again, a second target if I happen to go first. For siding patterns, I would probably side these guys in and then some variation of the hand traps. But that is it for the side deck. For the main for the extra deck, again, Flu players, we don't always go into the extra deck, but it's good to have some cards you can go into. I will one day run, especially now that it's cheaper with Rarity Collection 2, Ultimate Slayer. But even if not Ultimate Slayer, I have come up against matchups like Branded or Dogmatica or other decks that do kind of send things to the graveyard from your extra deck. So I have targets for that. Maximus, I think. I forget exactly which card, but Maximus, Punishment of the cards that send my cards to the extra deck that I choose. They don't expect this. I have a Branded game coming up, again, either before or after this comes out, where they scooped just because I sent this and just broke their board just using their own cards. For the Link ones, I have Anima, a new edition of SP Little Knight, and IP Masquerena. SP is kind of a must play even in a deck like Flu. It's a phenomenal card. Also, having one, I could bounce it between the rest of my decks. I do have access code in here. I have Celine and the Charmers coming in. I'm probably going to side out or swap out my Ultimate Slayer targets for the time being, just so I have access code lines. But again, Flu players don't normally go into their extra deck very often. But that's it for everything but the XZs. I have Fucha, obviously, for Zeus, Assemble Nightingale for Zeus, and then obviously Downer Zeus. Typhon is amazing this format. You'll see in one of my videos coming up. If you have playable during your opponent's turn and you have enough birds in your hand, you could just Typhon, break their board, and then just play on their turn and then kind of floodgate them. And then I will never not play the train package. Again, I don't get to do it very often, but I think it's hilarious, especially with Snell on the side. It's a lot easier to do, just attack and then burn for game. But that is my updated deck profile for the post Legacy of Destruction format. I don't believe it's crazy different from my last deck profile, but I do like to go second. I like to break boards and, yeah, just kind of make my opponent feel stupid for cooking for like 10 minutes, because they can take a while. I like the pot cards as they are at 6 because it guarantees my draws into the board breakers and more playable. But yeah, I mean, let me know what you guys think. Sorry it's been a bit of a train wreck, but and sorry this is coming out so late. But thank you guys again for watching. That was my updated deck profile for the post Legacy of Destruction format. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.